Welcome everyone! I'm so glad you could join us again. I hope you've been enjoying all of our discoveries so far. Let's go make some new ones! Come on! Italian history can be said to have started in the 19th century BC, when earliest accounts record the presence of Italic tribes in present-day central Italy. Linguistically, they were divided into Oscans, Umbrians, and Latins. Later, the Latin culture became dominant as Rome emerged as a powerful city-state around 350 BC. The Roman Empire later dominated Western Europe and the Mediterranean for many centuries, making immeasurable contributions to humanity. Some of these led to the development of Western philosophy, science, and art that remained influential during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. After the fall of Rome in 476 AD, Italy remained fragmented in numerous city-states for much of the following millennium, finally falling under different foreign denominations. Parts of Italy were annexed to the Spanish, the Austrians, and Napoleon's empire, while the Holy See maintained control over Rome, before the Italian peninsula was eventually liberated and unified in the late 19th century. The new Kingdom of Italy, established in 1861, quickly modernized and built a large colonial empire, colonizing parts of Africa and countries along the Mediterranean. In 1946, as a result of the constitutional referendum, the monarchy was abolished and the new republic was proclaimed. In the 1950s and 1960s, Italy saw a period of rapid modernization and sustained economic growth, the so-called Italian economic miracle. The country, coming back to international policies among Western democratic powers, joined the European Economic Community, which later constituted the European Union. Italy is currently ranked as a major regional power in Europe.
The Victoria Italian Society has been founded in 1955 by a group of immigrants. Then later on they got more members and they gather dances in order to accumulate funds to purchase a small building, and from there we came to this place, which was opened in 1970, and we call this one Leonardo da Vinci Center. The future of the society, we hope to improve it a lot more than what we did, and that the activity are to maintain language, number one, and traditions, and promote our culture as well.
The goal of our society is to bring lots of our culture, many aspects of our culture, education, culinary, and even trips to Italy, and to make this place the best place on earth.
Good evening everybody. Welcome to the Da Vinci Center kitchen. My name is Gianfranco Mosca, Italian, real Italian. Sorry for those ones that they would like to be Italian, but they're not. This is something that it's a joke that we always do in our cooking school. Today we're going to prepare the amatriciana, rigatoni alla matriciana. The original recipe actually comes with spaghetti alla matriciana. Then what happened? In history, I think, for tourists, spaghetti was very hard to deal with. So what happened? In Rome, they just said, you know what? We are going to do it with rigatoni. It will be much easier. The taste is the same, and we will see how to do it. So the ingredient today, the main ingredient is what il guanciale is actually pork jowl. This part. Never use the pancetta, to make rigatoni alla matriciana or spaghetti alla matriciana. The original recipe comes with il guanciale. It's very hard to find, but if you're willing to prepare this plate, you will do it. So let's go on with the ingredient. So we have the Romano cheese here, Romano, from Rome. We are still in the same region here, Lazio. Then we have tomatoes, peeled Italian tomatoes can come from San Marzano, possibly, or nearby. Then we have the rigatoni, as I told you, and then we have also white wine that comes from the Castelli Romani. It's called Colli Albani. Then we have chili pepper, and optional. The onion is an option. Many people they don't like the onion. I like the onion. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Tonight I decided to use it. So it's up to you, up to your taste. So we need to start with the guanciale and meat as well. Very tasty. So then what we do, we cut it this way. You need to let this sweat. On the stove. Now, as I told you, let's go with the onion. Not many people use the onion in the original recipe. Quite fast if you want. Chili pepper. And now in a few minutes. Alright, so as I told you, you need to let sweat the guanciale. You can see here it's becoming translucent, as I told you, both the onions and the fat. So we need to wait until the meat is cooked and also the onion will be sweating. So all the flavors will be mixed here. Okay, and now is the time to use the wine. We have two actually a recipe here. Normally we take away the guanciale from the skillet, we put aside, but it's very crispy. This is another recipe, crispy. Then you use the wine, the sauce, everything else, and then at the end, when you mix the pasta, then you add the guanciale, crispy guanciale, nice, good. Today we use the second procedure, which is to use the guanciale and the wine together, to mix the flavor together. It's your taste, you need to try both of them. Let's go with the white wine. Not too much. This is enough. Don't use your food processor or blender, actually, the blender, to mix this. Because you will spoil the seeds. Seeds will explode, so it will be a change in color and taste. So what do you do normally, right? Use your hand. Right? Like this. Actually, all the ingredients must be good. First quality, possibly. Because what you can get in, then you get out. So if you want to eat good stuff, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go with the tomato. Here we are. Oh, now is the best part. Right? And then we mix it nicely. So all the taste will go together in the same region. You will see. I think it's ready. I think we need to go.
If you're an Orthodox Canadian, Lebanese, Greek, Ukrainian, you celebrate Easter a week later than the rest of us because you follow a different calendar. When we know the real reason is you want 50% off chocolates. No one says, you're in Canada, you can't do that. We're kinder, we're gentler, even things that have nothing to do with us. In Canada, we have Black History Month because we know what happened to our black brothers and sisters in the history of the world is a travesty. And as Canadians, we want to acknowledge and maybe atone. But we're Canadian. We don't know what we're doing. When is Black History Month in Canada? February. February, the whitest month on the calendar. And even when we get things right, we do things wrong. The International Olympic Committee awarded us, Canada, after years of trying, the Winter Olympics. And as soon as we were awarded the Winter Olympics, we held them in Vancouver. Vancouver, the only city in this country that doesn't actually have winter. I cannot wait until we bid for the 2020 Summer Olympics in Nunavut. At least we can reuse the Olympic toques, right? I'm from Montreal. It's a cosmopolitan, multicultural, bilingual city. And I will share something with you. French is a beautiful language, of course. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous? Hein? Combien pour la danse? It is an extremely, extremely liberal place. And that liberalness also extends to the way they name their towns. My agent called me a couple months ago and she's like, Franco, I have a gig for you. I'm like, perfect, that's your job. I'm like, where is it? She's like, well, it's in the Eastern Townships, cottage country. I'm like, yes, but where? She's like, and I can tell she was uncomfortable. She's like, well, it's in a town called Saint Tite. Only in Quebec would they name a town after an intimate body part. And it gets worse. Apparently, in Quebec, there's a town called Saint Clit. Now, I must be honest, I don't know where Saint Clit is because I can never find it. I just know, Franco, it's more to the right, and stop driving so hard. But I have to say, Winnipeg has been incredibly welcoming and stuff, but English Canadians, as an ethnic Canadian, you're not much better. Thank you for having us, but here's my problem with you. You are, as Canadians, you're so outdoorsy. You always want to go white water rafting, hiking on a mountain trail, trekking in the woods. Ethnic people, we don't do that shit. Our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents came from the old country, so we wouldn't have to do that anymore. I must say, in general, ethnic people do not camp, but Italians specifically never camp. There is nothing but negative connotations between us and the woods. Because of this, you will never see, ladies and gentlemen, 4 or 5 Italian guys lingering in the woods. You will not. And if perchance you should happen upon 4 or 5 Italian guys in the woods, I promise you, at least one of them is never coming back.
In a moment, we will have the pleasure of speaking with Maestro Pietro Roya, a renowned conductor who is currently working with the Pacific Opera and the Victoria Symphony. Let's speak with him now.
My parents are Italian, and they were. My dad immigrated to Canada in 1950, and actually came to BC. Music was always important to me as a child, and I remember then as a teenager falling in love with the sound of the saxophone, and I wanted to be a saxophonist. So I took lessons, and then eventually went to university and did an undergraduate degree. I wanted to be a jazz musician, but then. And I did play some jazz, but then fell in love with the classical saxophone, which is, I know sounds strange, and it's it's a very specialized sort of field. And I took that up, and I got quite proficient on the saxophone, and by the time I finished my undergraduate degree, vocal music seemed to come back into my life, and I fell in love with opera. I loved listening to all of the Italian operas, and in particular, I loved Luciano Pavarotti. He was my favorite singer to listen to. And they started a conducting program just as I was finishing my undergraduate, and I thought, this is my chance to get involved with opera, and that's really what I wanted to do. And I was lucky enough to meet a professor at McGill at the time, who happens to be the artistic director of Pacific Opera here, Timothy Vernon, and he became my mentor. And I was very lucky to meet him, and I got a lot of opportunity working with him, assisting him. While I was a student, I came out to Victoria a couple of times as an assistant conductor to see how the professional opera company worked, and it was great. It was a great opportunity, great experience. And then I was invited to conduct at Pacific Opera in 2000 as a guest conductor. I did my first opera here, and it was the Barber of Seville. And after that, the Victoria Symphony and Pacific Opera, offered me an opportunity to come out here as an assistant conductor. So I moved out here in 2003, and I've been here for 10 years, and I love Victoria. I've had great musical successes here, working with both organizations. I was also music director of the Victoria Choral Society for a while, and for about 7 years, and I got to conduct beautiful choral works. So vocal music is still very important to me, and I enjoy conducting opera and orchestral music. I have to say, working here in Victoria has been a great joy. I mean, I love the city, and I've had some great opportunities with all three organizations, and in particular conducting orchestral music and operatic music. So it's been a wonderful time for me being here. I have to say that as a conductor, I've had the opportunity to work with some great people. The musicians here are wonderful. I still get to work with Timothy, my mentor. I've had some great opportunities at the opera, conducting some of my favorite composers as well. Mostly Italian opera. I've done some French opera, but I think I'm drawn to the Italian opera, and in particular Verdi, who I think is a composer that's just so direct, and his works are so lean and typically Italian. They just rouse such great emotion. And then my other great love is Puccini. I think just because he just tugs at your heartstrings, and he's such a great. He writes such great melodies, and I think that's why so many of his arias are so popular. I've also had the opportunity to conduct some great works with the symphony, and one of my favorite composers being Beethoven. I've had the opportunity to conduct a few of his symphonies. I just feel privileged to be able to bring those works to life with a great group of musicians, and it's such a great collaborative effort when you come to a performance and you're all sort of in the same going in the same path, and it seems like everybody is on the same path and going in the same direction, and you make this great music together. It's just such a wonderful experience. I've loved it. I've loved the opportunities I've had, and I've loved my life up to now, with how it's transpired, how I managed to get back to vocal music from being a child, and it's just been, I have no regrets.
all'orizzonte mancan le parole. Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre mostra a tutti il mio cuore che hai acceso. Chiudi dentro me la luce che hai incontrato per strada. Con te partirò, paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Adesso sì vivrò con te, partirò su navi per mari che io lo so non esistono più. Con te io li vivrò. Quando sei lontana sogno all'orizzonte e mancan le parole. E io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mia luna, tu sei qui con me, mio sole, tu sei qui con me, con me, con me, con me. Con te partirò, paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Adesso sì li vivrò con te, partirò su navi per mari che io lo so non esistono più. Con te io li rivivrò, con te partirò su navi per mari che io lo so non esistono più. Con te io li rivivrò, con te partirò. Io con
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a good time. I look forward to seeing you again.